cold. I'm chilly.
You're just showing off your shirt.
I am. Okay, now I'm putting on my top shirt again. It's too cold down here. It's snowing.
Yes. I might actually put on my sweater.
Well,
okay.
Do you want to get it for you?
I can get up.
Oh.
I do have legs.
Well, I know. Ugh. But the key is, if you can find something to do for somebody else, it's always nice to help.
Oh, that's nice.
It's Friday. What are you going to do, huh?
It's the end of the day, and all of our children are home.
Everybody's home, because today was kind of a mix-up.
Ugh, it was a mix-up.
Well, I don't know. Just we were busy.
You were doing stuff, and I was making pizza dough.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I guess let's do our wrist check, because then I can talk about the watch I finished today.
And it's time for wrist check. Wait, do you want to go first? Okay, you go first.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I stole this. I mean, I stole it from him. I didn't go into a store and steal it.
Yeah, I know it's true. I've always wanted one, and hopefully someday I'll own one. But it's a nice coaxial that someone traded in against some other watches. And me, I have a 6306 with the original XGL 831 strap. Pretty decent. Fade a little bit, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, I started it last night because I did finished yesterday's watch jobs, and then I had like an hour before dinner, and so I stripped this movement down, and then through the course of the day, I kind of put this together because it's for us. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go through all the steps I would for like a customer watch because I don't need to. So I just floored it, and there it is, running beautifully. It's running in the 260s.
Cool.
Yep, 6306. It's awesome.
Let me just sip my tea.
Jorge Garza, 6 days ago. I have an original Apocalypse Now watch. What do you recommend I do to keep it working? Also, its value. I'd like to know what its value is also. Thank you. Well, if you have an original 6105, 8110, they're valuable. They're going up in value a lot. Pretty much they're all 4-figure watches now. They're just, everybody wants them. Even in pieces and junk, they're going, you'd be hard pressed to get one for under $1,000 now. A lot depends on the condition of your loom, the loom in the hands and the dial. That really depends a lot on it. What you should do is it should absolutely be serviced and have a case rebuild with all new seals. Crown should be rebuilt to protect the movement. If it's not serviced and it doesn't look like it's in great condition right now, I would not wear it.
From Priyan Mystery. I love Picard. Episode 2 is kind of slow. That's an understatement. It's the evolution of TV shows. Earlier Trek shows were problem solution based every episode, whereas this follows a long drawn out storyline. That being said, I like them all apart from the weird mini-series and a couple of Star Trek Discovery episodes. How do you feel after watching TNG All Good Things? I was 7, so I don't remember.
I thought it was great because obviously I'm older than she is. I remember my roommates who weren't even Trekkies at all. They had been, because I religiously watched TNG at that time, and even they sat down and they watched the finale with me, and they were like, now I'm kind of sad that it's over. It was a great episode. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The old days of Trek being like episodic and not having these big overarching season-long arcs, that's over.
Well, almost all TV shows now that are worth anything are serials, so...
Only The Mandalorian has these like standalone episodes.
And people complained about it.
Yeah, but everybody else is like, that's what TV always was. That's what TV is you have this, that's what Western shows were like, is you have this, you have the overarching storyline, but you have Monster of the Week episodes and everything.
Mm-hmm. I thought that episode 3 of Picard was better than 1 and 2, even though a lot of people liked 1, but I didn't. Something that actually I thought about that kind of annoyed me is, I don't know if he was the EMH or what, but he was like super Irish to the point of being a stereotype, and it felt like that TNG episode with the Irish people like coming on board.
He wasn't anywhere near as bad.
No, as that, but it was ridiculous. His accent was stereotypical. So
It's interesting because obviously the same actor plays the EMH as also plays the captain. There's the same. It looks like he programmed it with his own likeness.
really, I didn't notice.
Yeah, but he's the EMH and also the repair guy and does like I don't know. He's the dude's gopher.
Well, whichever one was Irish, it was kind of ridiculous.
Nah, it was nowhere near as bad.
But like
Worst
the
TNG.
Romulan lady is Irish and she's pretty awesome. Like she has a normal accent and everything's cool. And I don't know, it was kind of annoying me when I thought I find things to nitpick about though.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I'm enjoying it well enough. It works if I turn off my brain, and I try not to think about canon. I just put it away. But so far, Picard in terms of canon, I'm fine.
Yes, so am I. There's
Discovery, however,
yeah, Discovery.
it's just like it's
We're
like
watching it for the first time. It's totally trash. I love it.
Yeah, it's just I don't think about the canon at all. It's a Star Trek flavored show.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about watches again. Sorry, everybody. Jose F. Gonzalez. Hi, Sabrina and Spencer, for next week's lightning quiz. Square or round hour markers on divers?
Round.
Dress watch or skin diver?
Skin diver.
Panda or reverse panda dial?
That means so white with black circle chronograph or black dial with white circle chronographs.
I like the panda, even though I know that they collapse after a certain amount of time.
Well, they don't collapse,
they
but
fade.
Well, the dial can change colors. I prefer reverse panda because I like black dial watches.
Last year's Epiphone headstock or the new old 2020 Epiphone Kalamazoo headstock?
No idea. I'm so sorry.
I don't know.
Epiphone. I don't know if I was going to get an Epiphone. I don't know. I'd get a. I don't know. I don't know what I'd get.
That's what my acoustic guitar when I was a teenager was.
Really? Epiphone also does. They do sort of the lower end Gibson thing. So you can buy a Gibson Flying V, which is money, or you can get the Epiphone Flying V. It's less money, but it's fine.
Hi, my love. Randolph Cirillo. Spencer, I have a few pieces in my collection that I don't wear, I never do, but when I see them, I pick them up and just look at them and play with them because I love how they look and feel, but I don't wear them. Some watches just pull you in and make you look at it. Don't sell that root beer. You will regret it if you do. Keep it. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Okay, I feel like I read questions about this or comments all the time, every week.
Why don't we I can save up all the root beer observations and we can just do an entire episode of just root beer stuff. We did have one person, we think he was trying to scam us. Mm-hmm. He was trying to scam us. He was like, well, what's the serial number? All this other stuff. Can you relumi the hands? I'm a real watch collector.
Yeah, why would you say that?
Yeah, he had 29 feedback. Anyway, go on. What's up, Feeny?
Here we go again.
What?
From Dale Taylor Jr. Keep the Rolex. Don't sell it until you want to.
Okay.
Well, then take it off of eBay.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me funny? You're giving me the look you give me when you bought something.
I did not buy anything. Well, it's just that, if we sold the Rolex, it would make a lot of things easier, but, I'd love to keep it. It's a beautiful watch.
I can't help you. Randolph Cirillo. I love how you guys get so excited over the mail. It's funny. You're both like, mail! So is Sebastian.
And the dog.
And the dog. It's great. And that stuff Spencer said about why he makes the videos, that's just cool. Awesome to hear the honesty. Oh, and the clock has a loose minute hand. At least I think I saw it when you held it up. It died. It never worked. I got my money back.
Well, the lady packed it with no space. It was the radio, some very thin packing material, and then the box. The whole thing was smashed internally. Uh-huh. That was it. Was the end of it.
So I bought an L.O. Bean clock because I figure I'll just get a new one that looks old. It should be here on the 10th.
Let's hope.
Wait, what's today?
Today? Today is the 7th.
There's no...
The 7th.
Oh. He's like, hi, I have a date and you don't. From A. Feckery. Great video as always. Thank you for continuing to make them and keep it up. I have a quick question. I recently got a 7018 7000 charcoal dial. The watch works perfectly, but the crystal 300V11GNS is scratched up. Can't seem to find a replacement anywhere. Any idea where one can be sourced or if there are alternatives, and what gasket goes along with it? Many thanks up ahead.
Those are bonded crystals, so it's a ring with a crystal glued into it with the UV cure cement. The seals on those, I don't remember if those are the Viton rubber L profile gasket or if it's the clear plastic nylon. So I don't know. If it's the Viton crystal gasket, it can be reused because they don't degrade. Those are hard. I don't believe I've got one. I'd have to check. We have some. We have a couple 300V something or other crystals, but I don't know which ones they are. What you do is if you can get the glass out, and there's a technique for that, you can then measure just the glass itself, and you can get a generic from watch suppliers. They have them, and then you get UV cure cement, and you just glue the new one in. That's sort of the workaround.
From Jeff Patterson, wore my 6309 Diver 85 to 89 active duty U.S. Army.
Tell you, they're durable watches. They have good reputations for a reason.
Okay. From Rick, that bedside clock looks awesome. Hope you got it working.
Literally smashed inside.
I've had that classic Seiko yellow tabletop clock on my Amazon wish list for like a year, but nobody will get it for me. I actually had a positive experience with Seiko service in New Jersey.
Aha.
I accidentally borked the hairspring on my SARB 033 while trying to regulate it, and I sent it to them. It came back in perfect working order. It has a 6R15D movement and has none of the problems people complain about with these movements. Amplitude in the 300s and well within 2 seconds per day. I will say, though, it wasn't cheap and they took forever to get it done with very little communication, but I'm happy with the result, and my recommendation for a first vintage Seiko is an SKX 007.
Yeah, love a 007. Well, I put this comment in here in part because, like I said, I've only ever heard about Seiko service in New Jersey. I've only heard about the lemons they produce. So they've got a D movement. I still haven't seen a D. I really want to see a D because I don't know what they did differently. But, amplitudes in the 300s, that's great. Is the output clean? That's what I want to know. Clean, flat, is it adjusted? I wonder where I would get a 6R15D. I don't even know what they changed for the D. Oh well, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Sorry, I have an itchy nose because I was holding a cat.
From Aaron Pettarini. Hi guys, your videos have become a highlight of my Friday. I'm wondering if it is worth it to try and find an original resist dial for my Pogue since mine has a service dial. Is it even possible to find one without buying a parts watch? If I'm not looking to sell it, should I just leave it or should I try to bring it back to its original glory? Thanks again.
A good dial is going to be inside a watch. I haven't seen a loose resist dial in years. Everybody's looking for them. If it's your watch, I would just keep it, wear it, and enjoy it. And then, just keep an eye out. And you never know. Maybe you'll come across something that you can salvage. I mean, I remember one of the best Pogues I had I actually was able to pick up because it had the insert on the tacky ring, and the insert was worn to silver. And the crystal was like a totally hazy and frosted, but underneath it you could see the clean dial and the white lume. And so I got that one and it became a beautiful watch. With the screaming?
Willow loves screaming.
God, she was screaming last night. It was so loud. Everything was like... I couldn't believe it. And then she stopped and she brought in her breath and she did it again. What was frustrating, she's not even angry. She was just doing it to yell at her sister.
That's what she was just doing. Flying E. I would call the lines on the original indicator ring vinyl grooves.
Oh yeah, this is about the video that I made about the new reproduction indicator rings for 6309. Yeah, vinyl grooves, that's very much what they look like. Concentric lines.
Mihai Pascu. I'm suspecting since the ring has to turn while the diver's ring do not, the materials probably have to be different, maybe to be lighter or stronger to interact reliably with the gear turning it.
Well, actually, both of those indicator rings turn in the 6139 and in that 6119 smaller ring, that style that does not fade. They both have to turn. I'm not sure why. The only thing I can think is that the 6119 mid-sized sport diver rings only ever came in black. Period. They only came in black. The and that's true for some of the other, like the 70-meter sport divers, the other ones, the 6106s. Whereas the 6139 material has to be black and it has to be yellow. So I think that there's something in that they changed the formula so it could be dyed or changed colors. The other ones are just black and they don't fade.
Timeline watch review. What is your favorite Uncle Seiko bracelet for the SKX?
The Z199. I'm just, Larry's recreation of it. Larry's recreation of the Z199 is very, very good, very close. The spare links will drop into an original Z199. I just love the way they look, and plus I love tapers, not the big straight. So that's what I'd say.
Where was I? Oh, there. R. James, a question for next week. Given the high praise for the icon that is the 6309 704X divers, I'm curious if the same could be said for the 6306 7000 models and the differences aside. Would you say one is more preferred than the other, and if so, why? The 6306 seems to go for a bit more money than the 6309 as well.
There's the 6306 is kind of like the foundation. That's the JDM version, and the Japanese always had a tendency to keep the good stuff for themselves. The 6309 is more or less the same watch. Externally, the only differences that you can see on these is, I'm trying to undo this here. Externally, the only differences are very minor. You'd have to really look to know what you're talking about. There's some of the differences in like the case cutouts. The most thing that you could notice is that it has a kanji English day wheel. Most of the serious differences are under the hood. The 6306 has two diafix settings in the train bridge. So instead of having, the 6309 has 1 jewel and 2 bushings. Whereas this thing, it's fully jeweled and 2 of the jewels have cap jewels on them. So it carries a higher jewel count. It also preserves the lubrication better. But the key thing, the real kicker, is that the 6306 movement has a hacking lever. And the hacking lever is specific to the 6306. It's not like the 6106 or 6105 or any of that stuff. It's the only one that's made by itself. Now, if I had buckets of those hacking levers and the correct center wheel cock that has the channel cut out of it, every 6309 can be made into a hacking model. But those hacking levers, they are rare. I've actually considered having them recreated just to do that. That'd be kind of interesting. But in terms of, I don't know, like I just rebuilt this watch. I just did it. And I tell you, it's running beautifully. I mean, it runs cleanly in the 260s, easy. And it helps having those diafix settings. The only thing that would be better is if I put in a 6349, which has diafix top and bottom on both the escape wheel and the third wheel. And then, that's really, really hardcore. And you take one of those and you mod it to put a 6306 hacking lever in it. That's the best of the best. But that said, a 6309 movement is very, very, very good.
Can I read now?
Sure.
Okay. From Tim Lara, LOL, Gen X fist bump Spencer. From J Gladio, I think. I have this model 6309 7049 since 1982, and I have a scratch on the crystal and would like to know if it can be buffed out.
It can't. It's Hardlex. It's chemically tempered glass, and you'd have to have a lens grinder to do it. Not only that, in order to get rid of a scratch is a dip in the surface, you'd have to take down the entire surface to below the bottom level of the scratch. It's cheaper and faster just to replace the crystal.
From Spencer Braithwaite.
Ah,
Great video as usual. I have one question for next week's video. I just got a 1978 6309 8120. The dial code is 6309815, and I love it. It's in great shape with perfect original dial, hands, movement, loom, and bracelet, plus an unpolished case. The seller serviced it, but I still had a few issues. The crown and stem assembly was bent, the crown seal was destroyed, and the bezel and crystal kept popping out of the case. On top of that, it was running about 3 minutes fast a day. The seller apologized and offered to fix it for free, so it's on its way back to him now. Anyway, when I had the case back off to check the condition of the movement and seals, I noticed something intriguing. When I removed and reinstalled the crown, I could see what looked like a little spring-loaded cup that the crown interacted with when put back into the movement. Does 6309 have a bit of an odd keyless work setup?
yes.
I never finished the question.
Uh,
It keeps going.
okay.
Well, you can... I don't know.
I'm sorry. I've never seen it before, and I'd love to hear your explanations. Okay, so that's where I filmed a thing
On
for
the
you.
6309 movement. Okay, so this is a junk movement. Don't worry about this. Nothing's going to hurt it. This little push thing you're talking about right here, that's the stem, that's the release lever. So as for the keyless works, they're complicated, I guess. They're better set up than the 6105s. 6105s have a kind of like 6105 and 6138 have a sort of a funky setup. This one fixes a lot of those problems, but it's still pretty complex. So there's the one-piece spring lever right there it's the lever that moves the winding pinion around. This is your combination spring and click right there. Now this diddly, this is that is the quick set lever. So you go regular, that's day and date. You can go back and forth there, do your day and date, or you can go in here and you go to time setting. I mean, I guess it's kind of complex, but it's a strong system and it works. It's very, very rare to see one of these fail. And that's how it works. That's the diddly. That's how it goes. Of course, the Danny system is much, much simpler. And I hate to say it, far less complicated and also stronger. But this is a fine system. It absolutely works. And it's definitely an improvement over the 6105 setup. 6105 setup is nutty. Maybe I can find one.
So that's how it goes. I was not able to come up with a 6105 that shows its setting lever, but it's kind of the same thing. It's just not as robust a design.
From Ivan Mejia. Hi, Spencer. What are your thoughts on Horology House? I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
That's the Rolex guy.
Oh! I couldn't stop looking because the thread on that
The
website,
Rolex forum.
Yeah, it's just like every single time it was like 11 pages, 24 pages, 46 pages.
It's terrifying. Terrifying.
Yeah, but he made a choice
No,
to do that.
I know he made his choices, and clearly he's got some issues. Based on looking at the WhatsApp chat logs, and I read everything about this thing. I'd never heard of the guy before because I'm not Australian, and two, I don't. I'm not. I have Rolexes, but I'm not really a Rolex guy. I'm a Seiko dude. But I mean, reading about it, it's just like. Because I can put myself, I just like everything we do online is all reputation based. It's all word of mouth. Our reputation is everything that we are. And if that were to be damaged, if
That's why we're honest.
it's terrifying. It's a terrifying concept because that guy's he's only been at it for a couple of years, and he's really been growing, and he was
His
like,
small channel had 68,000 subscribers, and we're like, we're nothing.
we are nothing. But it's just like it's all gone. It's all over. Not only his entire career is done. Not only that, he very well could be facing legal repercussions and tax problems because he was billing taxes but not actually paying the government for them. I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy. I hope that the people who got scammed by him or however you want to, who were involved with him, I hope they get their money back. And I hope that people are going to be, careful about who they do business with, man.
Yeah, but he had a whole video on how to tell about a watch being a Rolex being a fake or not, and then he sells one that's fake of that exact one.
All you can do, man. Just the reputation he was leaning on it, and but all the stuff he was pulling out. He said he put out one explanation that I saw that he had some gambling problem, and I did know one guy. I didn't know. I've told you about him. He was this dude. He was a friend of my brother's. He was a professional writer. He had a job at like New York Magazine or something. He was a real guy. Like I met them. I went to their house. He had a lovely wife and they had a nice house and everything else like that. He had it made. He had it set. He destroyed his entire life because he was addicted to scratch tickets, lottery tickets. He blew all of his money. He blew like college fund and all their savings, every single bit of it. He borrowed money from his father-in-law to pay the mortgage, and he used that to buy more scratch tickets. He lost everything. He lost his wife. He lost his family. He lost his job. There was embezzlement stuff going on. Gambling. If that's the case, that sucks. But still, bottom of the day, he's ruined everything.
Well, that's not us. I don't care.
It just fills me with like fear and
why you
illness.
don't do anything
No,
wrong.
I know, but I was born with a guilty conscience because my parents were always looking at me like, what have you been doing now? I ain't been doing nothing. I just want to hang out in my room and make models. That's all I want to do. And I was still guilty of something. I don't know what.
You weren't raised Catholic.
I was raised Yankee.
Okay, where was I? From Tom Seckle. Hi, Spencer. Do you have more information on the bracelet? I am looking for one just like that for my 6105. Is there a model that had compatible end links?
I made a video for you about this.
So how I do that 6105 bracelet is pretty simple. Jonathan Koch, who was East Tech, he and I worked together. We were partners in a way. I did his servicing for him, and we also did other stuff together. Anyway, I was the first person, as far as I know, to fit an H-link to a 6105 case. And it's real simple. Jonathan helped too. These are, of course he helped too. These are end links for a 6138 3000X jumbo. They also, Jonathan found, drop onto the 6105 8110 cases perfectly. So, all you need really is an H-link and one of these end links. And then the last thing, because the 6105 divers normally take a fat spring bar, one of the big heavy duty diver ones. But what the hole in these bracelets won't take that. So what you need to do is get one of these, which is basically it's a thin spring bar, but it's got fat ends on it, fat tips. And that's it. There it is. These end links, they've been available generally on eBay. I believe Larry has them. That's UncleSeiko.com. And that's really about it. You can also do the same thing. This is one of my favorite things. You can do the same thing with 6309 end links. Unfortunately, I have a setup somewhere, but I can't find it. With the end links that you get, the aperture is actually slightly too thin, so I actually have to widen this out by like a 0.5 millimeter on each side. But you do that, and then it looks really good. 6309 cushion case divers look great with this setup. They look really, really nice. Yeah, Those are some rare beasts. Possible to find now. 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 original Jonathan H-Link bracelets. God, I wish I could have found, before he passed, I wish I could have found out where he had these bracelets made. They're so nice. They're a solid link recreation of the Stellux H-Links. Jonathan just had the everything about them, the thickness of the links, the curve, the finish on the top surface, everything, and they were just magnificent. Okay.
So again, I am never clear if Larry has gone through and actually made that whole setup ready to go with the straight. I know he has it with his new sort of beefy taper, but if you want one just like what I had, you got to modify those end links and make that happen.
From Stephen Gregory, why don't you show the people reassembly of the crown stem and washer?
It's a lot of work. Doing these videos, it's a lot of time.
And we don't get a lot back from it. We just got our tax thing from Google for how much money we make. That's it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, for all of 2019, we made $1,600.
Yes.
It's better than nothing. But
It's true.
$1,600, and this is a lot of work. But doing like the restoration videos, it significantly adds time. Also, there are a lot of ins and outs. It seems like a great idea. Okay, show me the steps. This is what you do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. But there's all kinds of twists to doing it right or doing it wrong. And you can, if I jack up a crown, I have other ones, and I can move on and replace it and apologize to the owner. Somebody who has their own 6105 at home, if they jack up their crown, they're out like $100 or more. I don't want to. I don't know. So it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of knowledge that goes into doing it correctly. I already have enough time invested in making the videos that, as far as I know, I'm the only person that does. And so right now it's not a priority for me to show that. I show the before and the after in the middle, but the process, I have to be right on top
Yeah, I
of
would
it too.
think the phone would get in the way.
Yeah, no, you have to be right on top of that to do it right. Because if you do it wrong,
CMB. Do the pin and the grooves in the crown on the 6105 inner rack and lock I could do with the 7548 crown, new or good use, if you have any spare. Nice work as always.
yeah, the first question, yes, the pin that's in the case, that's in that cutout for that crown, right in there, the pin's there, and then you have the fine knurling, and then the big slots in that crown. The big slots lock into that thing, and it's not really locking, it just makes it so the crown can't turn. 7548 crowns, yeah, I have them.
Tom N. Hi, Spencer and Sabrina. Hope I make the mail roundup. I'm attracted to column wheel chronographs, seeing them as an older, more elegant design than the cam type. The Seiko NE88 is one of those, but they're not seen as much. I like the current micro brand Soldat Promessa. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Do you have experience with this movement or its in-house version? Relatedly, is the QC issues you've mentioned with the Seiko limited to certain watches or movements, or is it a general thing? Might it affect some of the NE88s? Cheers, Tom.
Well, we got two things there. I've seen the QC issues of Seiko go all the way from base 4R36 movements all the way up to the brand new limited edition $6,000 Seikos. I've seen some funky stuff. I've never played with the NE88, but we did look at the website for Soldat, and that's for the price point and what they look like. I'm thinking that maybe my birthday present might have to be something like that. They look good. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I think that's pretty cool. I'd love to see one.
I let him buy his own birthday present.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see it. I mean, I could use another sword. No, I like that Soldat. I think that's pretty good. The QC issues, I mean, I don't know. Like, I saw QC issues. I had a brand new 8L55 powered, the SLA 25. Brand new. limited edition. And I have a video about it, and it's like the numbers were like weird. And I compared it to my own Marine Master 300 that I serviced. Beautiful, beautiful lines. And that thing was like just weird. I don't know. Whatever's going on, I don't know what's happening, but don't know about the NA88.
So here's the Soldat website. So it has, they only have, it's nice, they only have 3 models, 3 different colors. The NE88 it's a good movement. It's a modular movement on top of basically a 7S series Daney. You know, you've got 3 different color combinations. I can't go with the green one because green and yellow are the colors of my university, and I don't know, I don't have much university pride. She likes the red. It's kind of a root beery thing. I don't know, I'm not so down for this, but that. If I was going to get one, it would be this true blue. I like that. I like that a lot. And there's a few details I really like. This fact right here that you've got the hand, which is misaligned, but that the crown, the center, the hand tube comes through and it's silver on the top. I love that. I always think it looks a little sloppy when that is painted over. I just don't think it looks as good. I like it's got the nice radial dial. You notice you've got the bevel around the date, which is nice. And I like it also. It's got a big S on it, and of course S is always, you know, special to me. The hands look good. It looks like they're a curved top with, it's sort of an old school kind of setup. I don't know. I dig it. And it's I don't know. The case looks nice. It's all stainless steel, of course. Is that an etched? Yeah, it's got an etched case back. I wish it was stamped, but you know, what are you gonna do? I just think that's nice looking. I really do. I think that's, yeah, I like that. That looks really nice. I really dig that. And they painted it and then they put the hand tube in. Look at this nice 3D feel to the dial there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to save my pennies and get one, I think. Yeah, no, I think that's nice. Oh, look at that too. And it's got this kind of like, that's kind of like a Seiko thing actually. That looks a lot like the baby panda was set up like this, with this kind of crystal, the way that looks. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, look, and it's polished. It's brushed and polished. Yeah, I'm in favor. I think I'm gonna have to end up with one of these. I'm gonna save my pennies and get one. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Oh, it's got kind of a bathtub thing with the thing. Huh, I'll have to write this guy. I'll write this guy and see what he has to say. Okay, cool.
Gee, hi SNS. I must remind everyone to pause and smash that like button before moving on.
Smash that like button.
Following up on the not running quartz watches, is there a way to repair a faulty coil? Back to mechanical watches.
Oh, well, let me answer that question. Yeah. Sometimes you can use cold solder. Sometimes that'll do it. I haven't had a whole lot of luck doing that, but I save all these dead parts, and someday I might need to do that. You can solder them and make them live again, but I don't know really how that does.
As you seem to like the vintage military issue watches, what's your opinion of the Eterna Kontiki Super 1973 reissue? It was originally a watch used by Israeli Special Forces and looks pretty distinct.
I hate to say it, I should have researched this question, but I haven't seen it. I don't know. But I will make a note and I will look for it.
Oh no, he's fattening up the place.
Oh. Is it me or does it just get fatter in here?
Stop it. On Caliber Citizen 8110, is it prone to the issue with quick setting date? God, frig, Milo! Stop it! Stop it! Between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m., is it better to keep chronograph running with the Seiko 6139, 6138? Did that make any sense? Because the cat was being stupid.
Sort of. I would just assume that it's going to have the day date. Just get into the habit of never quick setting day date between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. On the chronograph question, what?
It's Milo's fault. Do you want me to read it again?
Just read the bit about keep the chronograph running.
Is it better to keep chronograph running as with Seiko 6139, 6138?
No, because it's a totally different piece. It doesn't have a clutch in it or clutch plates or anything. So leave it stopped.
Also, I think I figured the way for Spencer to keep the root beer... God, freak that watch. The root beer rolly and make it a daily wear. All it takes is dyeing hair with ginger color, the ultimate Kevin look.
Okay. Well, my hair's pretty colorless, so I could dye it.
You could easily dye it. But seriously, the watch is gorgeous. At last, the infamous lightning quiz. Diet or regular Coke?
I Diet Coke.
Diet Coke's his problem. And I can't... I don't like drinking lots of calories, so I have Diet Coke.
Or seltzer.
I mainly have seltzer. I don't really drink Diet Coke. But if I had to, that's what I would do. 6138 UFO or Panda?
UFO.
Panda. Because the name is so cute.
I mean, they're great. They're really cool. It bugs me that they're so valuable and so hard to find.
Simpsons or South Park? South Park.
Simpsons seasons 2 through 8. If not that, South Park.
Actually, that was the funny thing for me moving to Colorado, because obviously I've watched South Park since I was like 10 when it started, and and then I moved here and I'm like, oh my god, I get all the jokes. So,
Especially about Greeley.
yes, about Greeley. President or H-Link?
H-Link.
Trunks or Speedos?
Oh, I'm going to get a full-on one-piece banana hammock. No, trunks.
True Pogue or Silver Pogue?
Well, True Pogue. I have owned some beautiful silver dials, like some really nice ones. And there's something about it, it just doesn't 100% work for me. I don't quite know what that is, but just, it reminds me of like, the way that, for some reason, it reminds me of how, like, the Cylons looked in the original Battlestar Galactica in the 70s. That kind of, like, weird, chromy, glittery look to it, and doesn't do much for me, so I'll say Pogue.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Though I do like tea. I like the idea of tea.
I only drink coffee, so I don't get a headache. I prefer tea, though. Le Jour Pasadena or your favorite 6138?
Well, I have a Le Jour Pasadena, obviously. I almost never wear it. Oh, there goes Holden's mom.
Okay. Hey, look at us looking out the window again.
6138s. I mean, but the nice thing about the Le Jour Pasadena, of course, it's got a Valjoux 7750 in it, and they are bulletproof. And so wearing that watch, I don't have to worry about the irreplaceable chronograph wheel. That's always a thing with a Seiko chronograph.
New York City or San Francisco?
San Francisco. Sorry, I lived there for a really long time. I'm sure New York has lots and lots and lots of things to offer, but...
My problem is that I'm from the boonies of New York, and people from New York City love thinking they're better than people from north of there, and I got treated like garbage, so I have a bias against New York City.
I have a problem is that I lived in San Francisco for most of the 90s, almost a full decade there. But San Francisco in those days was, I think, very different than it is now. Like, at that point, the Mission had not gentrified at all. I was probably one of the first whiteys to move down into the Mission. And that was like, when you did that in those days, that was probably, now it'd be like moving to the east or the South Bay is now. Those days, moving out of like where I had lived, DuBose Triangle, and moving down into the Mission, that was kind of going down market. But it was, I don't know, it was different world. I remember the old days. But if money was no object, we had $1 billion, I don't know that we'd move to either place.
I wouldn't move to New York City.
You wouldn't move to San Francisco.
No, I wouldn't.
Or even Northern California.
Because I want to be warm.
We want to move to Santa Barbara, California.
No, I don't.
Yes,
he wants to move to Santa Barbara, California.
We want to move to Santa Barbara. No, we're going to go to Santa Barbara, California.
Okay, I'm glad that you have money hidden away.
I don't.
Hoyer Monaco or Seiko Monaco?
Hoyer Monaco. Oh, because that one's got the 7016 movements in them, and they're just, I never see them in really good condition. Though somebody did send me a link on Yahoo Japan of one, or I think Bai Japan, and of one that's like near mint, but it's pricey. I don't know. I'll go with the Hoyer.
I don't know.
That's the Breaking Bad watch. It's the square watch that Walt had in Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay. But what's the Seiko one look like?
It's just square and has that single dial at the bottom with two hands. They're okay looking. They've never grabbed me.
I'll say the Hoyer because of Breaking Bad.
Is that it?
That is it.
Wow.
Yes, we made it way under an hour.
Unbelievable.
We have to make pizza like now.
Yeah, it's pizza time and I have to get on it. So I will I don't know, that's it. We'll start uploading the thing. So thank you so much, and that's pretty much about it. Another day, another dollar.
What?
No, I'm looking at Milo.
I'm allowed to love the cat.
It's true. Okay, folks. Talk to you later.
Bye.